Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Rupal. So today we will learn how to create a pipeline in bitbucket, and then we'll configure it, and then we will push our code to our local branch. I mean the remote repository that we already create, and as soon as we push our code, the pipeline should trigger. So let's give a little bit of overview, like what we have and what will happen after we complete this pipeline. So as you all know, let me open my pie chart. Let me clear my screen. So far we are running our test from our local, right? So if I want to run PyTest. So this is what we are running. It is working as expected. So now, if we have a pipeline, so anyone in our team, they can go to that repository and they can run the same test from the bitbucket. So they don't have to open PyCharm and run from the local, right? So that is the big advantage. So that's what we are going to build. Like, for example, we have a smoke test suite, right? We wrote all our smoke testing, smoke test suite manually. So those tests will be under a smoke test. So after any build, to make sure existing code is not break, so we can run the smoke test. So how are we gonna run it? We can go to the bitbucket and run. Just click on the run button, so it will be running all the 14 test case. So then, like we don't have to come to our local machine and run it. So let's get started. And one more thing, that when we run our local, run our test from the PyCharm, from our local system, so all the packages is pointing to this API under API environment, right? Because this API environment will have all the packages like the authentication, request library, and PyTest, all the thing here. So in order for to run test from the bitbucket, is required one special file is called requirements.txt, and it is this name has to be exact match, otherwise it will not complete. And also in bitbucket we'll have the YML file where we have to provide the configuration file that we will see a little bit later. So this requirement.txt, it will hold all the packages here, like the API environment. So whatever packages is here, everything will be included in this requirement documents, include the Python. So as soon as we run from bitbucket, it will pointing all the packages inside the requirements. So requirements.txt. Okay, so that is overview. So now let's get started. Okay. And also one more thing, like right now, right? We already know how to push our code from our local machine to the repository. Now we are going to build the pipeline. The pipeline will be another kind of like the extension with the repository. So whenever we create a pipeline, it will have the build option, like that we can run, like you see, rerun. So that means we'll have something like this. So we can go to the bitbucket and click rerun. So it will run our test. Okay, so now let's bring the bitbucket. So let me open the bitbucket. So this is the bitbucket that we are already familiar with. So now if I go to my repository, and you see the master branch, I have .ignore file, and I also have the feature -Rubel also has a .ignore file. So that means whatever we have complete so far, like we add more test file, config file is not available under my feature file, right? So let's create a bitbucket pipeline. Then we're gonna push. So all these files should be available here. Okay, so now in order to create a Bitbucket, you have to be on your repository. So this is my repository. On the left side, you have like the pipelines. And in case if you're not seeing, you see this toggle or expand, like this, whatever is called, like you have to click on it. So it will expand this left side menu. So click on pipelines. So this will be by default. It looks like this. And what do you have to do? You have to scroll down a little bit. And you see you have so many options, like whatever project you built on, you can choose here. So we are using Python. So you have to click on select Python. So this is the default configuration for the pipeline. So these, you see API underscore test. So this is our project. And under the project, we should have another file called bitbucket pipeline. So what I'm going to do, just copy this extension. I have to create one file under the root directory. So now let me go to the Python. And so this is our root directory, right? So this is the root directory. So right click, then new file, and paste here. So is bitbucket hyphen pipeline.yml. This name has to be matched. So enter. So it has been created. So now it's complaining, okay, missing the requirements because it's expecting some kind of this thing. So now what I'm going to do, just copy everything from here. Copy and paste it here. So that the message has been gone, is gone, it's not anymore. So now, this is like the default configuration, but now I'm going to do some edit because there's a lot of information that we are not going to use for now, at least. So these steps from the bottom, delete this. And also we are not going to run the parallel test. So delete this. So since we delete everything, so what you can do, so we have to do some little bit of indentation, just one step back. So select from this hyphen till at the end, then from press the shift and tab. See, it will go one step back. So now, as I mentioned earlier, that whenever we want to trigger or trigger the pipeline, it's require the configure all the packages that need for run our test. So in local, it is pointing to this API environment. For Bitbucket is expecting the required.txt. So that means we have to create on required.txt under the root directory, and all those packages should be listed there. So now let's create a, okay, before I create that, let me do the configuration here. Yeah, I'll come back to this one later. So now let's create a required.txt. So how I can create, so I have to, let me see if I am on the project directory. So I have to type pwd present directory. Yes, I am. So now let's copy, let me put my here. So this is the comments to create p phrase greater than requirements.txt. So this is the comments yeah, we have to use to create a requirement.txt. So just paste it here. P space phrase space greater than space requirement.txt, enter. So it has been created. So what I have to do is just click anywhere. So you see the requirement.txt. And one more thing, make sure your when you create a requirement.txt that you have to be your virtual environment will be has to be activated. Otherwise, it will not copy all the packages from the virtual environment. Okay. So now if I expand this, you see the request, everything, all the packages has been created. So now let me, on the right side, split to right. Let me expand a little bit. So now it's a pip install, right? When we say this is the script, it will run, right? So it's a, okay, take first install requirements.txt. So it will install all the required packages. On the required packages, we already listed the PyTest here. You see PyTest. So we don't need these comments here. And also it's saying PyTest -v, then there will be test, and then /star. So that means whatever, run all the tests, from this folder, and then it will just generate the report. For now, I'm not interested to generate the report, so I can ignore it. But let me see how we run from local machine. So right now we are running PyTest space -v -s. So I can just copy the same thing here and paste it here. Okay, so that should be good. So let me see if I'm missing anything. So we have a bitbucket pipeline, we have a requirement documents, and all the file is working. So let me, before I push this code to the bitbucket to make sure it is running in our local. So let me run again. So yeah, we have a 2 test. So let me see. Yeah, we have a 2 tests, right? And all of them, I mean, this is the same test. So let me remove this, run only one. So run again. Yeah, 1 test is run. So it is successful. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to push this code to my the branch that I have created, not the master branch. Okay, so let me go back to the branch. So this is the configuration. So now let's open another tab, or what you can do. Let me go back on. Yeah, that's fine. So what I can do, let me go to the repository. Master, let me go here. Right now I have only this, right? So, and also I don't have any the pipeline. So as soon as expectation is, as soon as I push the code, the pipeline should create. Okay, so now let me expand this on a little bit. Clear. So let me see where I am. So it's git branch. So I am on my branch. So now I say git status. So this 4 file we have added. So it's git add all the file, git add space dot. So it will add everything. So now if I say git status, everything has been added. So now git commit -m. I say add bitbucket pipeline. You can say anything, right? So now I have to say git push origin, the name of my branch, feature -Ruble. So it has been transferred. So it has been successful. So now if I click on pipeline, it's not triggered. So now if I go branch, my branch, so it has been created. Now if I go source, Nothing is happening here. Oh, wait a minute, what is happening here? Okay, so why is didn't create? Oh, okay, I forgot to commit, right? So now let me refresh. So what I have to do is just run, or I have to commit first. So run initial pipeline. So now it's the pipeline is currently disabled for this repository. Administrator can be enable pipeline in repository. So after you commit, just do the refresh, so it will see like this. So that means I have to setting pipeline, and you will see like everything will be here. Run initial pipeline. So now if you click on setting, not the setting, sorry. Run initial pipeline. So it's a the pipeline is currently disabled for this repository. So now setting pipeline, it will not help. Let me see something. So pipeline. Okay, we need to do some little troubleshoot here. Pipeline, run initial pipeline. Branch. Don't care about this. Let me see if I supposed to see some error. Looks like you already have a bitbucket YML in the repository, but why is not running? So basically, sometimes it's is required to like setting pipeline, but I'm not see that option, right? So basically, it's require two-step authentication. So let me open another tab to see if I get an email. Oh, 220. So I did not get an email. So basically, most of the time, I supposed to see the error, but it's not display right now. But what happened is it's required two-step verification. So it will display like as soon as you try to run. It did display like you have to enable the two-step verification, but it's not display right now. But let's configure the two-step verification. So on the right side, you see your profile and settings. Click on that, then click on personal settings, and you will see the two-step verification. Click on two-step verification. And if you have, so this is the steps, like if you are using iPhone, you have to have a Google authentication apps installed. And when you have Google authentication installed on your apps, so you can add, click on plus icon, then you scan this QR code, and then it will generate the verification code. So what you have to do, just provide the verification code. So let me enter the verification code there. Okay, enable. So that means it's not taking, right? So what I can do, maybe the QR code I have is also wrong. This try again, 740023. So it's wrong. So that means I did have a existing QR code, but it didn't work. So let me delete that one first from my phone. So I am on my phone right now. So remove account. So now QR code. So I got the QR code. So now I'm going to enter the QR code again. This is 821. So is two-step verification is done. Check your email. So now let me go back to my email. Is finish enabling. For finish enabling two-step verification. So just click on the enable two-step verification. So it has been added. I mean, it has been done. So this is the extra step that we have to do. So now let me go back to the Bitbucket and click on repository. Click on repository, and if I click the pipelines, and now if I click on run initial pipeline, you see, after I enable the two-step verification, this give me the option now. So now if I click on select branch, and I'm going to run feature Rubel and leave the default. So click on run. So now it is running. So that is little extra step that we have to do for a two-step verification for Bitbucket. It wasn't like when I was doing last time, a few months back. I didn't have to do that. So I ran my test and it's passed. And now if I click on it, you see I got the result as well here. So now what I'm going to do to now it should automatically trigger. Let me see. So just add test anything here. So I can say new file name is test. And so I say this is for test. Okay, so this is the new file. So now if I say git add git commits commit -m add test file git push origin feature Rubel. Okay, so now let me go pipeline again. You see, it has been triggered automatically. So now if I just click, so we can see the progress. So you see like how it easy will be, like anybody in the team member, like if we have a regression test suite, if we have a smoke test suite, they can just come to this Bitbucket repository, click on the pipeline, and if you have 100 test case, doesn't matter, we can just rerun. So it will just by one click, it will rerun our smoke test, regression test, whatever test we need to run. So that is really good advantage of using the pipeline. Okay, so that this video I am to stop here. So I will add more test case, and also this since it is working as expected, one more thing I can do, I can push this code in a master branch. So this way we'll have the original copy in the master branch. If my branch get messy, that we still have a fresh copy from the master branch. So now what I can do, I can create a pull request by click create pull request. So since our code in my branch, so I can from the drop down from feature Rubel, and it should goes to the master branch. So I can leave anything because right now I don't, since I'm going to push everything on master myself, so I'm not going to add any reviewer. But in real world, in your team, if your team if you have 2 or 3 QA engineers, so you can add them and they can review your code, and then they approve, then push to the masters. So right now I'm skipping this step. So create a pull request. So looks like no Mars conflict, everything looks fine. So what I'm going to do is click on approve and then just merge. So keep everything as it is, so merge. So it will take a little bit of time. So it has been completed. You see, as soon as I just press merge, it right now is merging from my local branch to the master branch. So it is completed. So now let me go back to the master branch. Now I should have, you see, all the code I have in master branch is the 100% similar code in my branch. So that how we run pipeline, how we create a pull request, push it to the master branch from one branch to another branch.